Just put the phones away. Workbook's out. Page 39. Let's see if we can think this through. All right, let's look at the first one real quick, because I feel like a lot of us are very confused right now. So if we have x minus a equals 0, but then we make our a bigger, and we still need it to equal 0. So now I'm going to have a very big a. What needs to happen to my x? Huh? We're not trying to solve it right now. I'm just saying what would happen to the x. Yeah, it's going to have to also get bigger, right? So if my a gets bigger, my x is also getting bigger. Because x would always have to equal a for this to be true. So what we're looking at here is just the relationship. We're not trying to solve. We're trying to look at the relationship in the expression. So if a gets bigger, x would also have to get bigger. If a gets bigger, x would also get bigger. So if I have a big A, I need a big X to subtract it from in order for it to equal 0. That's why I have the little one and then the big one. Okay, so we could absolutely solve this around. A lot of us spotted that X would have to equal A. So if A gets bigger, X is also getting bigger. That's another way to look at it. I feel like B is one of the harder ones on this page. Because what's happening between the A and the X? What operation is that? Multiplication. So they're being multiplied together, right? So how can I have two things that multiply together and equal 1? I think our friend's computer was squirreling. I was going to say, it feels like we're definitely squirreling in the chair. Because we're squeaky, 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 squeaky. Yeah. Squeaky, 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 squeaky. Squiggly. And then you have a WD-40 running the oil there. I can de-squeak of the chair. If I'm into, we can de-squeak it. I've got it. Well, let's try and keep it. Is the table? I can de-squeak of the table. Let's just like stop trying to DJ scratch upon the table. You don't need to be doing this with the table though. Just chill.
I mean, he was just erasing something on
okay.
the thing and it's still related.
I don't know. Okay, so have we thought about anything? What's a couple of numbers that we could multiply together to get 1? 1 and 1 would work. What else?
3.
I was gonna say, they did tell us that A is positive. So we're not necessarily looking at negatives. So if I had 3 of something, that was one of your ideas. If I had 3 of something, what would I need to multiply it by to wind up at 1? 1 times 3 gives me 3. So that didn't quite work. Ooh, how did we come up with that? Yeah. So if it was 4, we would need our 1.25. That's also known as what? How can I put that as a fraction? The number you said, 1.25,
Yeah.
as a fraction. You're right there. So close. What is 0.25 as a fraction?
0.5.
Fraction.
Fraction on my best.
Y'all, how much is 25 cents?
A quarter.
A quarter. What's 0.25?
A quarter of
A quarter.
Oh.
Y'all slow.
1/4.
Y'all
Oh,
slow.
that.
To be fair,
I was
I
zoned out.
asked y'all. Okay, so if we had 1/4 times what? Times what would give me 1? Times 4. So 1/4 and 4 would multiply to give me 1. So if A gets bigger, what's going to happen to X? It's going to get real small. Because they're going to be reciprocals. Haven't heard that word in a hot minute. Oop, wrong pen. If A gets bigger, X gets a lot smaller. Guys, I need the alternative conversations to stop. Just say, I'm not saying it's just you. There's several alternative conversations. Okay, because you could also look at this and start to kind of solve it.
I'm gonna be honest, I already know the answer for all of them.
I'm sure you do.
They're all the same solution.
Teach me the ways.
To be fair, everything we do in this class we've seen before. It's just a matter of, 1, whether or not we remember it, 2, putting it into our context. So, just saying, nothing we do in this class is brand new. So if we were to solve this, we would get something like A equals 1 over X. So you could do that and solve it like this. Or X equals 1 over A. So let's look at C. If A gets bigger, what would happen to X? Because I need A times X to equal my A.
You have to divide.
By what?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong.
A has to equal A. You have to divide something. So it's A plus
So then make it an X equals.
Yeah.
So what would you get? If you wanted an X equals.
X equals A squared.
Careful, what were we doing? I'm going to move this out of the way.
No.
Remember, these guys are multiplied together.
I'll show you what you works.
You'd have to divide that multiplication.
Divide by.
Are we allowed to put a random number?
Go for an X equals.
10.
X equals 0.
Look over here. What? I don't have a 10 in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Divide by what to get my X by itself?
A.
By A. What happens if I divide A by A?
You get, yeah, it
They cancels out and becomes
X equals A.
a
A
over A, not A squared. 1. Just like if it was 2 over 2, 4 over 4, 12 over 12. A over A is just 1. So this relationship is a little bit different because it only works when X is 1. It only works when X is 1. Do you know which leg on the table is the one that's squeaking?
Yep. The one's right. No.
Say, I'll WD-40 it after school, but it kind of smells like wasp spray, so I don't like to spray it when there's a bunch of people in here. Like WD-40 smells foul.
Yeah, who cares? Like, people
The
complain.
table's squeaky, so I'll grease it, but we'll be fine. We got one more on this page. It's okay. We're fine. So if my A gets bigger,
Yeah.
what's going to need to happen to my X?
Stays this.
I think there's somebody at the door, Taylor.
X
X equals 1.
If X is 1, does that work? If my A gets bigger, what if it was a 2 and now it's a 12? And you said my X is 1? Is 1/2 the same as 1/12? No. So these are like entirely separate thoughts. These are separate pieces. So what will happen to X if my A gets bigger? In order to keep this whole statement equal to 1. So I have a little x over a little a equal to 1. If I make my a really, really big, I still need it to equal 1. What does my x need to be?
Twice as small. No, twice as big.
Twice as big, right? I need a big x. So if I make my a even bigger, my x is going to be even bigger, right? We're finding the relationship. It's a pattern noticing thing. Okay, so if the a gets bigger, my x will also get bigger. That's not how we spell also. I forgot the L. You could also multiply both sides by a and figure out that we would need to have x equal to a. If x equals a, this is true. We had one very much like that on the card sort where we had x had to equal y in order for our solution to be true. Okay, so this is all about trying to notice the patterns in here and how they relate to each other. Because we'd like to be able to look at equations and get some idea of where we're headed without having to necessarily substitute pieces in and solve. We're starting to become aware of equations in their true, existence. Okay? So that's what we're looking for on here. That's my, 4 extra pages in here. Okay. So now we're actually going to use this stuff in things. So we're going to look at page 42. It jumps past the page that talked about our card sorting thing. I know. We did the card sorting thing.
On page 42.
42.
Oh, I'm gonna be here. Oh, I'm gonna be in this thing.
All right. We're going to start by writing our equations. And we'll write all of our equations and then we'll come back and solve them. If we can. So, all right. I need the other conversations to stop. It's disrespectful and rude. I know it's a Friday, and I know we're in a math class that we don't really want to be in right now. You still got to be respectful of me and the people around you, because some people actually do care. If you choose not to care, that is your choice. You do not get to make that for other people. Thank you. All right, so we've got here that a store has 2 different brands of headphones. They've got high definition ones and some basics. They say here it buys some number of HD headphones, and they're using an X here, at Z dollars. So the cost is Z. They're not telling us how much it is. Then they have some other number, Y, number of basic headphones. And holy cow, yet another variable, W, for the cost of those. We're going to write some equations using these systems down below. What are you doing? So let's look at A here. They say the number of basic headphones the store can purchase if it spends a total of $10,000 on headphones and buys 110 sets, HD sets for $70 each. So they're giving us some of the information. Up at the top, they used 4 variables, and we'd really like to not have 4. So, looking at A, what did they tell us? Which variables did they fill in for us? Because we have 110 HD sets. How many HD headphones? What letter is that? X. So this is my X. They told us that part. What other one they tell us? Yep. So we have a couple. I heard a couple people notice a couple of really great pieces of information. We have our $70 each. So our cost for our HD headphones, they told us at the top that was Z. So they're filling in those 2 variables. We only have Y and W left. I also heard us notice that we have a total of $10,000. So we're going to try and write an equation for this. So, first things first, when we're starting to build these equations, they give us a whole lot of information. Okay, so I see us trying to put a whole bunch of pieces together. What's it? Yeah. So, in general, what is totaling up to that $10,000? What is going to make my total? In words. Like, as I'm talking, like, what? As we're talking to each other, y'all. I'm just talking to you. How do I come up with the total of my headphone purchase? How do I total it up?
110 HD headphones, 70 each, plus Y basic headphones at W equals.
Still trying to get us to think of a different way. What am I buying?
Normal headphones.
Normal headphones. I'm going to spend some money on normal headphones. And I'm going to spend some money on high HD headphones, right? So we're going to buy or spend some money on HD headphones. And we're going to spend some money on our basics, right? And then we add those together. So this kind of gives us our general structure for how to build this equation. We're going to spend some money on HD headphones. We're going to spend some money on basic headphones. So what are the pieces we know now, looking at part A? I know how many HD headphones they got. So I know, let me see, grabbing my highlighter again. This piece. What else do we know? How much for each HD headphone? What are we going to do with those two numbers to find out how much in grand total I spent on my HD headsets? If I buy 110 and they are $70 each, multiply them. So we're going to set this up as our $70 times our 110. Not equals the total. We still got to talk about them basic boys. How much are the basic headphones? We don't know.
You don't know. So that's gonna be one.
Look up at our top. How much do the basic headphones cost? $W. They told us to use a W. And how many of those basic headphones do we buy? We don't know, so we're going to use our Y. They told us that one too. And it's going to equal our 10,000. They told us that in the story. So we're trying to work on kind of deconstructing our stories. So we could simplify this a little bit. What could we do to simplify this just a little bit? Multiply the 70 and the 110. What's up? You definitely did not knock like you meant it. You did this for knocking. I right past it. So we could multiply this. 7,700. WY equals 10,000.
It's gonna be disgusting.
We could also, yeah, we could subtract the 7,700. So we can have our WY equals, what would that be? Oh, let me not have that right next to it.
Yes.
I'm gonna go down.
2,300.
Yeah. So I've got my WY equals 2,300. So we're going to spend on basic headphones $2,300. Stop. Right there. Okay? It didn't say to do anything else with it. In fact, if you read the actual instructions, it says, do not solve. Sometimes it does help to read the instructions. We don't have to solve. We did a little bit of simplifying to help practice that. So we just multiplied these together and then we subtracted that from both sides. But we're not going super intense on the solving. We're not going to wind up at gross for now. So we're going to do that again, but we're going to look at part B. So, pink, purple, green. Oop, wrong color. I'm just putting the same highlight colors up there. Okay, that's exactly what we had in the last one. So now we have that the price that the store pays for the HD headphones, we're going to be asked to solve a little bit for the price that the store pays for HD headphones. If it spends a total of $2,000 on headphones and buys 55 basic headphones for $20 each. So start by building our equation. We're still going to start with our kind of basic structure where we're buying some basic headphones. And we're going to buy some HD headphones to our total. So we're going to start here. So what pieces do we know? Yeah. So So I know that we're buying 55 basic headphones for $20 each. So I know how much the basic headphones cost too. What else did we notice? It's going to equal our 2,000. So there's our total. So this was my basic. This was my 20. So we're going to put our pieces in here. We're going to have our 20 times our 55. It's going to be our Z, which is the cost of our HD headphones, and X. Yeah. And we're going to set that equal to our 2,000. Boop. Okay, let's simplify this a little bit. Mm-hmm. So multiply it. What do we get? Mm-hmm. Plus ZX equals 2,000. So let's get our Z and X all by themselves. So how much are we spending on HD headphones? $900. So even without knowing the cost of that headphones, or even how many we're buying, I know that the store is going to pay $900 for however many headphones that is. Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 9, maybe it's 90. That would be unlikely that it would be 90 because that would require them to be less expensive than the basic headphones. But, you know, maybe they're on sale. Yeah. They're the Beats that have 2 E's instead of an E and an A. I know. So they're Beats. They're still Beats. I saw us eventually catch the eye roll on that one.
Yeah.
All right, one more.
Who gave you eye roll?
You.
No, I didn't.
It was the Beats, and you were like. Pink, purple, green, blue. All right, see if we can put this one together. Oh. I mean, we're not technically supposed to have music on because it is actually against Indiana state law. And the law.
This way.
Hang on, get in there. Is there an answer? For A? Yeah. Yeah, that was what we did in A. It's all good, it's all good. Oh, definitely thought I had paused my screen there. Sorry. Or I'd have been talking while I did that. Okay. So hopefully you guys wound up with the same kind of dealio. Definitely thought I had my screen paused so it wouldn't write up there
I ended up.
while I was writing. Oops. So we had our 8 basic headphones for $80. We had our basic and our cost. We didn't know our cost or how many we got of the HD for a total of $800. Then we simplified just like they did before. So the store is paying $160 for however many HD headphones there are. We can honestly probably logic our way through this one.
1 or 2.
1 or 2, probably, because the HD headphones should be more than the regular headphones, theoretically. Like, so maybe they just bought 1 of the HD headphones because they're $160. It's double what the regulars are. Maybe they got a really great deal, and they got 2 HD headphones for the exact same cost as the basics, because they're again on super duper sale. It's unlikely it was more than that, but we don't have enough information to go further on it.
Yeah.
Okay? So, boop. End of day. No new homework. If you have done 2-2, you're all caught up.
Yippee.
That's the equivalent equations one, and I think I told you about that one on Monday.
Isn't the next homework due next Wednesday?
Something like that. We average about 1 homework a week. I think next chapter we might get up to 2. But the next chapter is a little bit more calculatory. Okay, so we're going to keep working with equations and stuff. Next week, we're going to start getting into things like paying taxes on cars, sales tax and stuff. Oh, I was going to say, then you will love the very last project we do in the year, where you get to plan your life
Plan my life.
with a job and a car and a house and your bills and plan your life. Okay, so y'all have about 5 minutes. Do the thing.